COVID-19 stigma will not protect you.
I don't want that child playing with my child.
He better stay away from me.
Be kind during COVID-19. Follow all protocols.
That disease I have no cure.
Mika COVID. Learn the facts about the virus.
Me, I'm not working with any COVID person.
She better stay away from me.
Let's not turn fear into stigma. A message from the St. Lucia Red Cross.
Good night, St. Lucia. Welcome to another episode of Police Insight. I am your host, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I'd like to say good night to all my colleagues, police officers at the various stations around the island: Grizzly, Rodney Bay, Central, Babonneau, Marsha, Richford, Dennery, in Meacood, in Vieux-Fort, Labrie, Choiseul, Soufrière, Canries, Ancillary, Marigot. Good night to you all our officers in the various specialized departments. Good night to you, our COVID warden officers. Good night to you, City Police. How are you doing? Good night to you, Special Reserves, ex-police officers. Thank you so much for your service to this country. Good night to our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, Bodley Correctional Facility. Know you guys are going for a tough time right now. Good night to you. Those are the Ports Police. Good night to you. Those currently at Customs, I like to say good night to you all. So tonight I have a very, very, very important guest. But before I introduce him, just a couple of, let me see. Okay, we have a press release from our organization, from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Apparently there has been, social media, ladies and gentlemen, the technology. There has been some fake news, if you want to call it that, going around. So I think you have the picture, Shane. We have the Royal St. Lucia Police Force saying that the attached images in circulation depicting a change in protocols. The organization wishes to inform all that there have been no adjustments to the protocols, particularly the curfew. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force strongly condemns such malicious acts and continues to urge all in St. Lucia to be cautious of materials in circulation via social media. So, this shows you, viewers, how it is so easy to just distribute misinformation, distribute things that are not genuine in our age of technology. It's very easy. With the computer, with all those various different apps that you could use. So once again, we are appealing to people to stick to the genuine sources, stick to reliable news outlets. And as you know, whenever there is a change in protocol, always there's an official press release coming from the command center, okay? And we all know that, but that's just how it is. We like to give a lot of attention to what we believe might cause some form of controversy. So that's okay. But just letting you know, guys, once again, let's stick to the reliable and genuine sources. Also, what I need to inform you, tomorrow there will be a panel discussion brought to you by the Youth Empowerment Project in collaboration with the Community Relations Branch of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And I think we have a nice little flyer, Shane. Let's put that up on the screen. And that will be held tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at 10 a.m. It will be broadcast live on NTN channel 122 and on Flow channel 100. The discussion will be based on the theme community-based policing during a pandemic. Let me say that again. community-based policing during a pandemic, a regional perspective. And we have at least, I think, 4 islands participating. We have St. Lucia, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and also Trinidad and Tobago. So it's definitely one you must not miss. It's at 10 a.m. once again on NTN, broadcast live. It will be an excellent panel discussion by our colleagues in the region. And guess what? Your moderator will be yours truly. So make it a date. Make sure you tune in. You'll have an opportunity to pose questions to the panelists. So it will be definitely something that you should not miss. Okay? All right. So this is where you now tell a friend to tell a friend that Police Insight is on. It's live on NBC. And I'm ready to introduce my guest for the evening. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome to Police Insight our newly appointed Commissioner of Police, Mr. Milton Desir. Good night to you, sir.
Good night, Sergeant Hippolyte. I almost said
Inspector?
no, not Inspector. I almost said Corporal, not remembering that you were promoted just
yes.
in the last set of promotions. Yes.
Good night to you, sir, and welcome. I'm happy that you're here.
Yes. Good night, all. Especially a special good night to the police officers who are out there who are on duty presently. I mean, they are on duty and away from their family. I mean, it is a hard task in as much as we sign up for it, we get paid for it, but it is sometimes difficult when you see you leave your home, you leave your family, probably wife and one child or wife alone, and then you have to go to work. It is a challenging task. And also say good night to all other officers out there, hard-working officers, other law enforcement officers, especially the fire service. We work hand in hand with the fire service now, especially with COVID, the pickups that we do. They are good support for us. I would also like to say good evening to all St. Lucians listening and those here, those abroad.
Excellent, sir. Well, as you know, we're going to jump right into it. And I know there are people who probably know who Milton Desir is. But by all means, there might be those who don't. So could you please tell St. Lucia a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I was born and raised in Choiseul. Yes, born and raised in Choiseul, went to school there. My last school being the Vieux-Fort Comprehensive School. My last, I would say my qualifications would be on the most, I would say my highest qualification. I have a master's degree in management. I also did a lot of courses in law enforcement. Also, we looked at leadership courses, both locally and regionally. So to prepare myself for the task that we have. When I started as a teacher, but that was not my passion.
Interested?
No, it wasn't my passion. My passion was always to be a police officer. I liked seeing a police officer, especially when these officers would walk up the road, come to visit at the schools. I liked the uniform that they wore at the time, and I am one who is for law and order. So I liked law and order to ensure that things go right. Yes.
And how long have you been in the service, sir?
I've been in the service for about 36 years. I joined in 1985 and was trained in Barbados.
I see. You don't look so, sir. You don't look so. You've been there for that long.
Yes, I have been there for that long.
Okay.
Just taking care of the body.
Just taking care of the body.
Yes.
Okay, and that's very good advice, especially to my colleagues. Let's take good care of the body.
And I must say, growing up, I started as a constable, and I never jumped a rank. We have some officers who went to cadet officer, that is from corporal or even from constable, but I did not jump any rank. I went through all the
So you've
ranks
gone
from
through all the ranks of the
yes, through
organization.
all the ranks. So I have all the experiences of every rank. Yes.
What would you say would be your most fondest area or department or unit that you've ever worked in your organization?
Sometimes I try to keep it to myself because saying it out there because persons believe that they own me and so on. Traffic department, I spent a lot of time there, and I spent good time shaping up traffic.
Okay.
But the Marine unit is a unit that I really admire, simply because of the discipline that is there. You see, at the Marine unit, persons, you were trained from scratch, despite your age, at the unit you have to start from scratch. That is pulling a line, then tying a line, going out there, placing fenders and so on, probably being at the helm, and then you decide whether you want to do navigation or engineering, whichever the case may be. But you cannot, there's no instance where somebody just went and they went at a particular level and survived. Okay, and having worked there as a constable and went back there as a commander in charge, I think that was a good achievement, and the guys there, I know they really work hard, especially out there on the seas. When we on land, it's okay. You get help from other police officers. You call for help, but when you're out there at sea, it is very yes, it is very challenging, and you are there alone in the dark, rough seas.
Rough seas.
Yes.
So
I admire that unit.
So big up to the Marine officers. Now that, I mean, the way the commissioner put it is so true. Out there all alone in the dark. So those of you are currently at Marine unit, and also those of you who have been there, no longer there, you know how it is. I like to just pick you up for a while there. Okay, sir. So what would be your number one priority now that you have assumed the command of our organization?
Okay, I have many priorities, but as the question indicates, what is your number one priority? Actually, I believe that in service delivery, and in fact that's why we exist, that's why the force exists, to provide that service to the public. And to provide that service, you must have a motivated workforce. Because if the persons who will deliver that service that you require is not motivated, the public or citizens will not be satisfied with the service provided. And in doing this, you need to build capacity inside, within your force, so that you have persons who are trained or skillful individuals that could deliver that service for you. Being it investigations, being it going out there on an operation and so on, but you need individuals that would be able to provide that service, so that all in the effort of reducing crime.
I see. Service.
Okay, so
service.
yes.
Is there any other one you want to touch on? I know you have many, or we're good there.
Yes, there are a lot that I want to touch on. For example, I would like to ensure that victims of crime are updated of the status of the case.
Excellent.
Victims and their families.
So
it's like you have an incident occurring, as much as sometimes there's nothing much happening, but I believe it is our responsibility to inform the families. They know what is going on. We do not want to leave them just in the wilderness, hanging away what is happening, and we need to be truthful to them.
Excellent.
Okay, so that is another one that I want to see.
And since you're on that, are there any updates on recent homicides that you wish to share with St. Lucia at this point?
Okay, we have We have leads in some of the homicides, but for the last one, we have had an arrest in the last homicide at Mikod. So there is an arrest in that homicide.
That's good
Yes.
news. The very last one in Mikod.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Question, sir. Are we as a nation, in your opinion, doing enough to fight the occurrence of violent crimes?
Yes. I would say that yes, as a nation, we see some aspect of it. For example, you would find business institutions, business places putting in security features, security cameras, and so on. This enables us to fight crime. We also see that persons, special groups, are standing out against violence. These are the things that would assist us in fighting crime. We have persons giving information. I believe that goes a long way in crime fighting. And once individuals know these things are happening, probably there could be a reduction. However, there are some things that I must indicate that contribute to crime.
Yes.
Yes, especially with social media. I think you touched a little on it, where persons are free, they have a phone, they have data, and then they would do as they please on social media. These are some of the things that contribute to the commission of crimes.
Excellent.
Yes.
And you mentioned about the giving of information. There are individuals that are still skeptical, sir, about giving information to the police. They're wondering if the police could be trusted when you look at confidentiality. What can you say to those individuals who have information but have this fear, still have this fear that they would wonder if the information that they give would either be leaked by a police officer or their identity might be compromised?
Yeah, and I think some persons, I must say that it is not something that is far-fetched yet. So what could happen? For example, with USAP, you always hear, I am sure if information is passed on to you, you will keep it or direct it to the right place.
To the right channel.
Right. There's the Commissioner of Police. You have the head of divisions. You have the head of a station. So if you have information, you don't meet an officer or just walk into the station in as much as that's what it should be. You should be able to give any officer information and keep it confidential.
That's right.
But it's not happening. And because it's not happening, the ways in which we could correct that, you go to the head of the station, you could give it to this individual, or sometimes the investigator in the accident. I must say, however, that sometimes, because it has happened, that persons would say that I gave information to the police and they told the other party that it was me.
Yes, we've heard that a lot.
We've heard it, but the process, in the process of investigation and in the process of taking a matter to court, there's what you call an identification process.
Yes.
Right? That this is the individual who did that to me, right? This is the individual I saw on a particular day. And also not just that, where the matter has reached court, there's what you call disclosure. You must disclose statements. So the statement of every individual, whether it is an expert witness or just a witness who have seen or witnessed an event, would be disclosed to the other party, so they would know all the witnesses in the case. That is what the court is about.
Exactly.
So sometimes it's not like the police deliberately told anybody that Jack was the one who said they saw Jim climbing a tree.
And I keep wondering why that keeps coming up.
Yeah.
So do you think it could be a situation that we at our level, we're not, probably not explaining that to persons who make reports or stuff like that? Or is it a situation where sometimes, like people come to stations and they ask for warnings. Maybe even at that stage, even at that action, they're expecting that the police should not tell the person, but yet, how could that be if you want a warning?
Yeah, because if you're approaching someone on having committed an infraction or an offense, you need to say again, so you have committed that offense, give him the instance. You know. However, I must still indicate that there are times the person can give us information without identifying themselves. So you just give the information. However, we will find other means of taking this individual to court.
Exactly.
Right, so you give us that sensitive information without saying, okay, it is Jack Jones. So in that instance, there will not be a statement taken, so nobody would know that Mary Brown gave a statement.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
So, you know, COVID has brought lots of challenges. I know you are definitely in tune with what's going on in your organization, but let's speak about our investigators for a while. Our officers in the CID and all investigators, good night to you. How would you say, sir, they are faring under this COVID environment?
Yeah, I find they are doing, the officers are doing very well. And I must indicate that during the process of investigations whilst on duty, officers have contracted the virus.
Yeah.
Yes, and we still continue to work. You may find that sometimes an entire shift is placed in quarantine or isolation, whatever the case may be. And these officers, but they still persevere. They come after the quarantine. They still come and then do whatever job that they have to do. And I must say that it all goes to the commitment of officers and what they are there for.
Excellent, excellent. All right, let's just take our very first quick break, and when we come back, more discussion with the top cop. Stay tuned.
Quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars, and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies, and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols. Be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Said we shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona. It's all about the high life.
Yes, it's definitely about the high life. The high life with Prime Life by Digicel. Live the Prime Life this month and be one of 4 winners of $1,500 cash. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Upgrade to a postpaid Prime bundle. Download the Digicel apps or become a new Digicel customer to qualify. 4 winners, $1,500 each. It's the high life with Prime Life by Digicel.
It's all about the high life. It's all about the high life. We are solution. Crystal Bay. Crystal Bay.
Sodium free and the proud recipient of the 2018, 2019 and 2020 Grand Gold Mond Selection Quality Award. Our choice is clear. Crystal clear.
All for great savings, right? Flow gives you up to $80 a month off your mobile by just adding it to your home bundle. Enjoy the fastest internet speeds and free mobile calls from your home phone, plus HBO and free internet speed upgrade. That's more value while you spend less. Switch today. Bundle and save up to $80 a month off your mobile. Call us at 1-800-804-2994 or visit us in store. Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
You're watching MBC.
Good night, St. Lucia. Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host here, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. In studio with me is the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Milton Desir. I'd like to shout out, first of all, Natalie Sophia Antoine of Bexo. My sister, good night to you. You know, most times my family say, hey, you shout out everybody, Mr. Hippolyte, but you seem to be forgetting us. Maybe it's because I see you all the time. So good night to my one and only sister, Natalie Sophia Antoine. My brother, Patrick Antoine Tyson from Grizzly. Good night to you, bro. Also like to say good night to my brother, Thomas Antoine Barbados. I'd like to say a special good night to the former police commissioner and now the special security advisor in the office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Moncheri, Mr. Severin Moncheri. Good night to you, sir. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Moncheri was the one who baptized this show, calling it Police Insight. So that's also one of his legacies. One day I'll have you here, sir, on the show so we could discuss what's going on now and if you miss us. I know you miss us. Anyway, let's continue the conversation with our Commissioner of Police, Mr. Milton Desir. So, question for you. We are yet to see legislation allowing officers to be equipped with non-lethal weapons such as taser and pepper spray. Would this be a priority under your leadership?
Yes, it would be. However, I must indicate that police officers do carry some form of non-lethal weapons, like the baton and so on. However, whichever weapon that an officer carries, we must bear in mind the use of force policy, where you must use the minimum amount of force that is necessary to probably arrest an individual. So that is, I think that is key, is using the minimum force. You could have a firearm, for example, but you shall only draw that firearm if it is necessary.
Yes, because, and I so agree with you. However, there are some of my colleagues, and you know, so we are heavily sometimes influenced by what we see in other territories. That there are some of my colleagues who believe that it's about time that we at least have options, readily available options that could also assist probably in the safe apprehension of people. Many times, so many times now, so on social media, we would see some officers trying to arrest an individual, and sometimes it's so difficult and gives the public an opportunity to post on social media and then have all they say. But a lot of our colleagues would like to at least, apart from the battle, have other options. What say you?
Okay, other options, probably stun guns and so on. Yes, I know that the relevant authorities, we have had information, they have had conversation in terms of getting that, but it has not been forthcoming, and I'm hoping that we would see to it. Actually, I'll reopen that conversation to ensure that we have those weapons. But I must still say, even with,
then,
yes,
I agree,
even with these non-lethal weapons, if you use it wrongly, you could cause death.
That's right.
Depending on where you hit somebody with a baton,
that's right,
you may cause that person to die. If you do not use For example, they stun gun properly. Yes, you may cause death also. But the main thing is to use the force that is appropriate to overcome an individual.
Excellent.
And once persons stick to that, I don't think we would have any issues.
Mr. Commissioner, we continue to see an increase in road fatalities and accidents, especially that of motorcycles. Despite pleas from the Royal Sinistra Police Force for motorists to exercise due care and attention, some citizens have even called for a system where someone's license or certain points could be deducted, where someone's license could be taken away from them, etc. What is your take on this, sir? What is your plan for making our St. Lucian roads a safer place?
Okay, I must first indicate that with my experience in traffic and also now what you are seeing happening on the road, that persons, it all calls for discipline in driving. You need discipline in everything, but in driving there must be that discipline and that care to others. And once you do not have that, we'll continue having these incidents of road accidents which sometimes cause death. You would see for traffic signs, a stop sign. Persons they don't care about stop signs, some individuals. So you have to physically have what we call a sleeping police, a speed bump, to cause persons to slow down. That should not happen. We have rules and regulation governing the way persons drive. You need to drive accordingly. However, these things happen when there is not sufficient enforcement. And when I say enforcement, I'm saying all around. It first starts with the police having given you a ticket or a charge, take you to court. But if tickets are issued and at the end of the day nothing happens after that ticket is issued, then persons don't feel the need to obey.
Because now they could simply go pay the ticket and then everything is fine.
Yes. Now in terms of suspension of licenses, that is left for the court to do. Right? Before I could recall when one was taken to court for causing death by dangerous driving, that is where as a result of an accident someone died, you could have suspended this license pending the determination of the case. But because of a particular case that was brought before, and I think it was that case, it was Jean-Baptiste Valsin and the Attorney General. That case, as a result of this case, it was said that it was unlawful to suspend the license before the determination of the case. Because what you would find, when matters go to the High Court, it would take years. And during that time, probably the person is a bus driver. And in fact, in that case, the person was a bus driver, so he have lost his livelihood because he doesn't have a license, and the case is still pending in court. So after that case, it was said that case set the precedent that the person has to be convicted before his license can be suspended.
I see. That is very. And also, I'm happy to hear this because I was not aware of this.
Yes.
This
However, the insurance company, if for some reason they find after an accident, they find that you have caused that serious accident or have been causing accidents and being wrong in accidents, the insurance council can, we liaise with, the police can liaise with the insurance council and have that person license, not license, insurance.
The coverage.
The coverage withdrawn or cancelled, yes.
And I think
it happened just recently.
Yes, that's what I was
so these are some of the things that could happen.
Do you have so we've seen a rise in accidents involving motorcycles for whatever reason. Do you have a special plea, or should I say something you'd like to say to our motorcycle riders?
Yes. Actually, I'm a motorcycle rider too.
There you go.
Right. And for some reason, motorcycle riders, they tend not to obey any rule. They overtake on the, and that's some of them, not all. You have responsible riders that would obey the rules to the T. But you have individuals that they would overtake on the left, they overtake anywhere, and the wheelie in, where they ride on one wheel. Some of them do it nighttime. Now, when you ride in the night with wheelie in, your lights is pointing in the air.
That's right.
The oncoming vehicle cannot see you. We have had accidents occurring like this. So persons need to, I also understand that there are sport riding where persons go off track and then do their sport. It is dangerous. However, it does not put many persons in danger. They put themselves in danger. But when you are on the public road doing it, it puts other persons in danger. Somebody who is just driving and bum an accident. And so I'm appealing to riders, and in fact all drivers in general, that when you're on the road, you need to drive with care, attention, and you need to have other persons. You owe a duty of care to every other person on the road, be it a pedestrian, a bicycle, a motorcycle, any other vehicle. You owe a duty of care. So you have to drive. That's what you have to drive with these individuals in mind, so that you do not cause an accident to cause any damage or hurt to these persons. There are rules of driving. Those of you who have forgotten it, you could get back to a training school. I could offer free lessons. Yes.
But I was just coming to my next question was actually surrounded like that, because you said they can get back to, I guess, brushing up on their riding skills. But it sounds like it's a choice. Unlike with a driver's license, after a period of time you must do some defensive driving course. With the motorcycle permit, I believe it is called, there's no such requirement. You have to make that choice?
Yes, you have the requirement, but that is if you have the driver's license. Because the practice is, some individuals, they have a permit to learn to ride, and they keep renewing that permit.
Oh, I see.
So you have a permit for 6 months, 6 months up, you have not qualified to get your license, but they keep riding.
Interesting.
And I believe that persons with a permit, you need to have an instructor teaching you at the time. So you cannot ride your motorcycle alone, because a permit is to teach you to drive or ride. Okay.
You're a rider, so last question surrounding this. You're a rider, and we've heard some riders make the following statement, that the motoring public don't respect riders. Do you think that's true in your experience?
If I would say a yes or no to this.
Okay.
Right? And the yes being that the riders themselves cause it to happen. Because you are overtaking on the left, you do not stop, you just cut across individuals. So they see you as a danger to them. So they have no respect for you, no regard for you. So in that sense. On the other hand, persons, I know drivers do respect they have drivers who respect every individual on the road, pedestrians and bicycle riders and so on. So
excellent. Okay, so what do you think that the police and the public, what more can we do to assist in the curb of vehicular accidents?
Yes, we need to intensify our patrols. And actually, I'll be having, I should say 2 motor vehicles on the highway.
dedicated to that?
Yes, I have identified the 2 vehicles. We are just waiting to the garage to set it up with the requisite lights and so on. And these vehicles would be dedicated for the highway. That would be their duty on patrol. So you could deal, and the way we want to do it, you would be dealing with any situation on the road. So you would be doing preventative, you would be doing response, but it's on the highway. We have other vehicles, for example, at Denry, the Denry vehicle will take care of the other things, but we want vehicles on the highway. I believe that persons drive recklessly because they believe that they can drive from Vieux-Fort to Denry without seeing a police vehicle, and when they do it, nobody stops them. But if this vehicle, if you are driving and said, okay, I think there's a vehicle where you think they are, and so on, so you drive more responsibly because you don't want to be caught. And mind you, a lot of these persons do not want to be caught.
Yes, okay, sir. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to community policing, sir. What are the existing community policing strategies in the RSLPF? And are there any new strategies you wish to enact during your tenure as police commissioner?
Okay, the strategies that we have we have some what you call community groups. Okay, we have watch groups, and we have some good some good groups. I could make reference to, I think, Boseju.
Yes,
Were you involved in?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So we have Boseju. We have the groups down in Vieux-Fort. We have Rising Stars in Vieux-Fort. That's a youth. Yeah, that's a youth group that is doing very well.
And we should big up Sergeant Sivina James. Am I correct?
Right, Sergeant James. I think is heading that community policing in that area. We also have our bicycle patrol unit. And that unit, I must say, we saw a change when that unit came about. Okay, I guess you know who brought it, who introduced it, but I would not say. Well, what I believe we, the force, can take credit for that. These bicycle guys are everywhere. They ride to Leclerc, they ride to Sanssouci, they respond to calls to the schools, they respond to calls to the community. And they are doing a fantastic job.
Excellent.
And at this point, I must shout out Constable, I think it's Papius, who had an accident yesterday on a bicycle where someone opened the door whilst he was passing.
My goodness. My goodness. Okay. And are there any new strategies that you believe that should be part of our community policing strategy, or any in the pipeline?
Yes, I must indicate that there are new strategies that would be brought out. For example, in terms of community policing, we have the area that we most commonly deal with, community relations. But in terms of community policing, when we look at the community on the whole, meeting certain groups to ensure that they assist the police in crime fighting. And one of these areas would be providing resources to the police, in as much as the responsibility is the government to provide resources to the police. However, there are certain groups or certain communities who see the need, for example, for the police to have a vehicle in an area, and then they would provide it, that vehicle. So I see the need for us to have these collaboration with certain stakeholders so that we could do better. It only assists us in achieving whatever we set out to achieve.
Under former police commissioner Severmore Sherry, I know there was this program, Meet the Commissioner. It was the town hall meeting.
Right. There's Meet the Commissioner that's ongoing. We also.
So you will continue it, sir?
Yes, but because of COVID, there are certain certain things you cannot do now. You have to put it on hold. But I think it was a good thing where persons would meet with the commissioner. Persons would indicate what issues they have in the community and so on. So I think it was a good thing that has to be continued.
Excellent, excellent. Is there a possibility that even despite COVID, that especially if time permits, that we could probably introduce a virtual meet the commissioner, depending on the certain communities using probably Zoom or something?
That could be arranged once the area has the platform. Yes, we can meet certain groups. You could do it by certain numbers and so on.
Excellent.
And if any community wants to, any group wants to meet the commissioner, we could do that. We could arrange a Zoom meeting.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, Shane, we're going to take our second break. When we come back, especially we'll speak about COVID wardens and also the protocols, etc. And we will open up the line. Stay tuned to Police Insight.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete, so fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
Yes, it's definitely about the high life. The high life with Prime Life by Digicel. Live the Prime Life this month and be one of 4 winners of $1,500 cash. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Upgrade to a postpaid Prime bundle. Download the Digicel apps or become a new Digicel customer to qualify. 4 winners, $1,500 each. It's the high life with Prime Life by Digicel.
It's all about the highlight. It's all about the highlight. We are solution. Crystal Bay. Crystal Bay.
Sodium free and the proud recipient of the 2018, 2019 and 2020 Grand Gold Mond Selection Quality Award. Our choice is clear. Crystal clear.
All for great savings, right? Flow gives you up to $80 a month off your mobile by just adding it to your home bundle. Enjoy the fastest internet speeds and free mobile calls from your home phone, plus HBO and free internet speed upgrade. That's more value while you spend less. Switch today, bundle and save up to $80 a month off your mobile. Call us at 1-800-804-2994 or visit us in store. Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
COVID-19 stigma will not protect you.
I don't want that child playing with my child.
He better stay away from me.
Be kind during COVID-19. Follow all protocols.
That disease I have no cure.
Learn the facts about the virus.
Me, I'm not working with any COVID person.
She better stay away from me.
Let's not turn fear into stigma. A message from the St. Lucia Red Cross.
You're watching MBC.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host there, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. In studio with me is our Commissioner of Police, Mr. Milton Desir. We're going to be opening those lines soon. And those of you who have already sent messages via the WhatsApp texting platform, thank you very much. Mr. Commissioner, how would you rate the impact of the COVID wardens thus far?
Yes, I must say that the wardens are doing a great job. And just as in every organization, every institution, you may find some that is not up to par. But most of them, I must say that they are doing a great job. We have been having arrests. We have had convictions. And so all in all, I believe it was a very good initiative to bring these wardens on.
There are some individuals who are still bringing up the length of training that we informed the nation that they have received, and they are trying to tie it into the ability or inability, someone will say, in terms of dealing with the public. Can you please put that to rest?
Yes. Actually, the wardens were trained to do certain things, and they were trained mainly into knowing the COVID, the protocols and everything that goes with it. So they were mainly trained with that. Going out there into the field, sometimes you have various experiences that you will have to deal with. Now it is also expected that the wardens will have senior officers or constables, whatever the case may be, or even an SO, and it happens most of the time with them. So if there is a situation that they had not been taught how to deal with, they will make that call and deal with it. Okay. However, there are situations that they deal with, and you were seeing it on the video, where other persons come and interfere. If the public, the persons around, did not interfere, they would have dealt with that situation and move along. I've seen a situation where they were trying to effect an arrest. But what happened? Persons come and obstruct them, preventing that arrest. Right? And this is a criminal offense.
Yes.
Obstructing police officers while doing their duties. And to set the record straight, these wardens have powers of arrest.
That's right.
Given to them by the Commissioner of Police. And it's not something the Commissioner just fought. Oh, let me give these wardens powers. It's legislated that the Commissioner of Police can employ peace officers, because they were sworn in as peace officers. They were given the powers under the Police Act. And they have all powers, and it is said that they would enjoy all privileges that a police officer has, all powers, privileges, and so on. Excellent. So they do have the powers to act.
And they deserve the respect.
And they deserve the respect. Okay? And as time goes by, they get more confident. Right? Next week, they will be more confident. When they started, they had no arrest. Yes, they had no charges.
Yes.
But they are doing it. And convictions, too, they are getting persons convicted.
Excellent, sir. And Shane, just before you open up the lines, because usually once we open up the lines, our people on the WhatsApp texting platform, we cannot get to them. So let me just quickly, so there's a question on the WhatsApp texting platform. In many territories, just as in the case of criminal records, certificate of character, driving / traffic records are sometimes requested. Are we going to issue these here, and how soon?
Yes, I must say these driving records are also being issued. Okay. on request. Now, on request. I know of institutions who would write to the commissioner or head of a department, head of traffic, requesting the record of a particular driver. Then we would liaise with the court and so on, and then that is given. Okay. So these are used in terms of making a decision whether, because if the person has 4 cases of being convicted for reckless driving in a year, I don't think this person would be employed as a driver in an area at an establishment. So we do have that. Also, what we're looking at, and it is in the law but has not been implemented, is the demerit point system, which would make the difference that we are looking at. That is where certain points are given or deducted off your license for certain offense like causing the death by dangerous driving, reckless driving, speeding, and so on.
I see.
Certain points are deducted, and when you have accumulated 14 points, then your license is suspended. This is the legislation is there, but it's just implementing that process.
I see.
So this is one of the things that I will be working hard on to ensure that it happens.
Excellent. Yes. All right, let us now take the calls. 4533-911, 4533-911. Good night to you.
Good night to you, Sarge.
How you doing?
Not too bad. And good night to the commissioner.
Good night. Good night.
Yes. Before I start, I just want to say, of course, hats off to Mr. Mosheri. Wish him all the best for what he did during his tenure. And I must say also, on another program, I must say he handled himself very professionally and did not allow the politics, if you want to call it that, settle in, and made it abundantly clear the position that the senior department of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is in, and that says a lot about him on a whole. I want to speak to Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Desir, concerning the whole business of the traffic. I'm happy you made mention of being a motorcyclist. That I know very well. And the reason I say that is I have always said in the past that I believe the traffic department can bring in more money than customs. And the reason I say that is we see it every day. One of the issues I have as a motorcyclist is the business of construction that has boomed in our country of late, which is good. But also you have heavy trucks up and down on the roads. And correct me if I am wrong to say that there is legislation as to what is supposed to be the contents or the level of contents in the back of a truck, carrying debris, stones, whatever the case may be, and how it is supposed to be transported while it is moving up and down on the highways and byways. Now just imagine, as you stated, as a motorcyclist, you're coming around a corner, and recently there was a video of a car which slid off the road and went into someone's home. How best is a video like that was produced, and or citizens that actually see trucks that are driving, and while they're driving, all this ready mix and all these gravel and stones being dropped off. What can be done to assist the police in doing so? And can that also be an area of target? Why not put all of these construction, you could say, businesses on notice that they need to conform, because it is a safety issue for the cars and more so for the motorcyclists. Continue doing your do. I will listen on and wish you and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. What the caller has spoken about, it is an offense, especially when vehicles, trucks are carrying load and they allow it to drop on the road. There's an offense for that, for dropping objects on public road. And also, if the load is not covered, there's also another charge for not covering the load. In terms of the public saying it also gives the owner or driver of that bus, it gives them it directs them, the law, to clean up that mess that they have dropped on the road. And that also is an offense if they have not done, if they have not taken requisite step in ensuring that they have cleared the mess.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Another call on the line? Good night, caller.
Good night, good night.
Good night, sir. How are you doing?
Dr. Patrick Gill, good night, Mr. Commissioner.
Yes, good night.
How are you doing? Okay.
Yes, okay.
I have a contribution. First of all, with the amount of accident that is occurring on the St. Lucia Highway to the these days, right? Why don't, first of all, I've heard time and time again the police and people are complaining about the media when they see certain things happening on the highway, they record it and they spread it around and so on. I also have heard the police use that same information to go and apprehend or maybe do their work and make their work much easier and so on. My question is on that point. Why is it the police is against people recording reckless driving on the road, or maybe seeing things are happening and they record it, send it out there so that the wider public would see the kind of danger or maybe reckless driving that is happening on the road? And the police is also on the other hand saying that they do not want people recording things on the highway. Like for instance, I listened to Minister Beyer last night talking about situations about, anyway, that's politics, can not get into it. So the question is, why is it that the police talk about against, the media, and it's the media that is helping them to the work even better? That's number one. Can you answer me while I'm going to ask another one?
Talk against the media, you said, caller?
Yes, I've heard the police saying that they do not like the public recording things and going out there and sharing it with other people and so on. Correct?
Mr. Commissioner?
Yes, yes. Actually, these issues are dealt with under the Misuse of Computer Act, right? And we believe that there are instances, if, for example, a video is taken, we don't want it to be flying all over social media. You can take your video, and if you believe that it would be helpful to the police, you take it to the police.
Oh, direct to the police, but not
yes, you take it to the you take it to the police, because persons now would be taking all sorts of videos and then would be blasting it on social media. I believe if the intention is for the police to be aware, so you get it, take it to the police, or you take it to the Council on Public Transport or something, to take it to a medium where the action can be taken, but not to just blast it all over the media. Where yes.
Okay, fair enough. Now the next question I have to ask quickly. I mean, I know there are lots of people who want to call.
Yes.
Would it not be helpful that we have more motorcycles on the road instead of having vehicles driving on the road? I mean, I remember at one time there used to be 12, 14 motorcycles patrolling the road. Wouldn't it be cheaper for the police instead of having the vans patrolling on the road all that time and so on and so on?
Yes.
That's number two.
Yes, it may be. However, sometimes when you have a vehicle on the road, you have this added security of in that vehicle having at least 4 officers who could deal with a particular situation, especially if you are out there on the highway. If you are around Castries, yes, a motorcycle would do, because you could call quickly for assistance if needed. But on that highway, I believe a vehicle would be yes, more effective.
I'm asking the question. It makes sense, the answers that you give.
Okay, caller.
Yes. There are other questions, but I guess other people want to call too. That's it.
Yes, caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. I'd also like to say good night to Superintendent Thomas. Good night to you. He told me they are not COVID wardens, they are peace officers. You are so correct, Superintendent Thomas. They are peace officers, but because the local parlance, that's how they're known. Yes, so we say that. We have another call on the line. Good night, caller.
Good night, Brother Zachary.
Good night, sir. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, and good night to Brother Desir.
Good night. Good night.
I refer to you all as brothers because I once served in this institution, And what I like about you, Brother Desir, is that you're dressing that. I can remember when I used to be going to CID and I used to be seeing you going to court, man. I used to wonder that where you get those nice clothes from, you know? So that, I used to wear some nice leather shoes, guys. And that left an indelible mark in me, you know? But first of all, I want to extend congratulations to you. Then I would like to admonish you, and then I would like to give you what I feel as the first order of business. I want to extend congratulations to you. I want to wish you all the best. And I pray to God that you succeed. You know, if you succeed, the nation will succeed, and we all will be happy, and we'll be living in a peaceful solution. But I want to remind you that if the opportunity comes for me to criticize you, I will do so respectfully, and I will also praise you when praise is due unto you. So that is my first part. Congratulations. The second part, my brother, I want to admonish you. I want to tell you that you have to be your own man. I believe as a citizen of this country, I think I have a right to at least, admonish you in that regard. You have to be your own man. You have to ensure that you are the commissioner of police to the people. To the people. You are not there on behalf of anybody. You are not the commissioner of police on behalf of the Prime Minister. You have to ensure that you do your job without fear or favor. And that is where you're going to be judged, my brother. That is where you're going to be judged. When you take on that crime-fighting position from the top. That's how I was taught to fight crime. From the top going right down. You have to ensure that the law, that justice is being served for all and sundry. If it is wrong for me to go by the beach and take a bucket of sand, it is wrong for somebody else to go by the beach with excavator and take sand by the beach. We have to be fair. And last but not least, when my brother Sakari asked you about the COVID wardens, I observed that you gave them a very high mark. But I beg to disagree, because when I was in the police force, the first thing I was taught, is prevention, not detection. You see? Because I'm sure if you see me in town with a mask below my nose, I doubt in my heart of hearts that you will just walk up towards me and arrest me. I doubt that. I doubt. I doubt my brother Zachary will see me with a mask below my nose. And the very first thing that will go through his mind is to arrest, get out.
So caller, are you making the assumption that is what's happening with the peace officers, that they're not even giving a warning or some form of instruction, that they just arresting people who don't have a mask below their, wearing the mask the proper way? Is that what you're saying?
Well, to be honest with you, Saj, to be honest with you, my brother, I have seen too much aggression. And that's my problem with the COVID warden. I just find that there is a level of too much aggression. Too much aggression is being made, because you can just come towards me in a way, a professional way in doing that. That is just my take, because I watched one clip there, in closing, my brother, I watched one clip where I see a police officer is arresting a guy concerning the mask situation, and he said, I haven't got a mask. That's not making sense. And Brother Zachary, that's not making sense. You're not wearing a mask, but you want to arrest me because you find my mask is below my nose. That's not making sense. We got to be fair. We got to be impartial.
Okay, caller.
So I want to wish you all the best. You know, better love.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, man, cool, man.
Any reaction, Mr. Commissioner?
Yes. If I make out the voice properly, I could give him some details of when he was a recruit. Yes. And we all know that, yes, when we have been through it, you have experience, you will know it all. But once you have persons who have just come in, they are recruits, whether it be a regular police, you have left training school, you have taken that oath and you're on the road, it will take you some time to understand the nature of policing, and it is through experience. You find persons going out there, they may take the wrong decision based on situation, and that is why I am saying that these wardens, when they are out there, we always try to have a senior officer to guide them, and we always tell them at briefings that if there is a situation that you cannot deal with, call for assistance before you act.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a call on the line? Good night, caller. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Yes, good night, Sergeant Zachary.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Talk to me.
And good night, Mr. Commissioner.
Good night. Good night.
You have to be very careful, when you are being buttered on air. There's always an agenda behind these things. I want to just point you to, I know you may not have your pieces of legislation with you, but I want to point you to the Traffic Act. I know you did quite a bit of traffic, and Section 107 in the Traffic Act speaks to disqualification from driving upon failure to pay fine. And it says a person is disqualified from driving a motor vehicle or trailer if he or she fails to pay a fine imposed upon conviction for a traffic offense or an offense under the regulations, and 30 days has passed since the termination of all proceedings, including appeal. And it says here, the licensing authority shall inform the person of the disqualification by sending a written notice by registered mail to the address contained in the record of the licensing authority. And the fourth part to that section says, the clerk of court shall inform the licensing authority in writing of the failure to pay, and when payment is made, the disqualification listed. Now, I'm bringing up this section because we have quite a number of warrants, we have been told, outstanding for non-payment of fines in the court. But these same people are renewing the driver's licenses and registering vehicles, and we are not profiting on that to ensure that these people pay those fines. Okay? So I want to ask whether it would be your intention, Mr. Commissioner, to make an appeal to the other agencies to ensure that this section is complied with, so that it can assist with the situation that the police are faced with. I also want to draw your attention to Section 75, which deals with driving while intoxicated. And this is a very sore area for many persons, if not, well, many persons in this country, especially police officers who used to be able to put people before the court for driving while intoxicated, and the mayhem it is causing on our roads. There is a provision or requirement on the part of the minister to establish the facilities for the tests to be done, and also to via the Gazette to make an appointment for persons or class of persons to be approved for the taking of samples and for the analyzing of samples. And that is probably the biggest challenge that we face in the force as it relates to the enforcement of this section. And so I want to ask whether it would be your intention also to make an appeal to the minister so that this section can also be complied with, and we can, so that we can see the police now enforcing this alcohol problem that we have on our roads.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks, caller. Actually, in terms of the suspension, I think I touched on it briefly in when it comes to the demerit point
Yes, you did.
Yes, although it is in law, it is recorded in law. However, the systems, the implementation of a system to do it is not there. For example, the court would have to be linked with Ministry of Transport system, so that any conviction recorded, that Ministry of Transport would be able to see it when you come to renew your license. So that is one. In terms of the driving whilst intoxicated, that has been an issue since when I was head of traffic. I had written many times to effect the change in the legislation where it would make it easier for police officers to arrest persons for driving whilst intoxicated. And to date, it is still the same or even less. Because when I was in traffic, you could have taken someone to the hospital and get a doctor, take the blood samples and so on, and then to examine the person and give his professional opinion. And this certificate could be taken to court and persons were convicted. However, even now, if one is taken for testing for driving whilst intoxicated, or you suspect the person to be driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, it has been said that you would wait because it's not a priority to the doctor.
I see.
Yeah, because of so many things happening. You have persons coming there with fractures, you have persons coming there with all forms of diseases that when the nurses triage the person, one who we believe is intoxicated, that is not priority. So you would find an officer who is on duty spending 2 hours at the hospital waiting for that test, and the officer has other things to do. So this is a challenge. And that is why a committee was formed to look at how easy and these recommendations were made.
We have another call on the line. Let's take that call.
Hey, Brother Harry.
Good night.
Yeah, just come quickly just to kind of rebut what the previous caller said earlier on, asking the commissioner to be careful that people do not butter him on TV because there might be an ulterior motive. I'm the kind of person, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I have known the commissioner from time of my CID days, and his dressing impressed me, and that's not no buttering. I have a clean police record. I am not involved in any corruption. I'm not involved in any criminal activity. I have a clean record at the age of 52 years, and I'm very proud of that. To see that I serve in the police force, and now I'm proud of myself to have a feeding program where I can serve my country in a different capacity. And in my friendship towards him, I haven't brought in that into dispute, and Zachary, you will attest to that. So I wasn't buttering nobody. I was just saying how I see it, and I stand firm in my conviction.
Thank you.
That I will praise the commissioner when he needs praise, and I'll criticize him when he needs criticism. God bless you, my brother.
Okay, Colonel, thank you.
Okay.
So we have a question on the WhatsApp texting platform. Good night, gentlemen. My question is it legal for driving instructors' vehicles to be tinted so dark. That is some of them. This person has made an observation of, I don't know if they're talking about the vehicle they're actually using to give the driving lessons.
Yes, well, actually, having tint, there's legislation for tint. There's legislation where certain vehicles are permitted to be tinted at a certain grade. For example, like minibus drivers, there's a certain grade that is allowed for them. Also, there's legislation that to have tint, you have to get permission from from the Ministry of Transport. So, in whatever activities that your vehicle is involved with, for example, teaching someone to drive, I don't think, teaching someone to drive that vehicle should be tinted, because the person is a learner and needs to see all over. And for persons who wish to tint their vehicles or have their vehicles tinted, when it is raining in the night, you cannot see much.
Very difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You're obstructed. You cannot see. Most times, you may have to bring down that glass, even if it's raining, to see something. So, tinting your vehicle, it is dangerous, and I believe that sometimes it contributes to accidents at night.
Okay. Good night. We have another call on the line. Okay, caller. Good night to you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. I think you're our first female caller, ma'am. Thank you for calling.
Yes, I want to pick up the Babono Waters.
Okay.
They're doing a great job.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, and I wanted to ask if you have anything in place, like for people that victimizing people that have COVID.
Oh. When you say victimizing, what do you mean, caller?
Like giving them jokes and stuff like that.
Well, it is wrong. It is wrong. I mean, we've spoken about stigma when it comes to individuals who have been inflicted with the virus and they've recovered. And even if they suspect that you have, they like to, some people like to give jokes and stuff like that. It is wrong. We're asking people to stop it. Okay, it is not funny. And whilst you are making fun of someone or making someone feel bad because they were inflicted with a virus, your turn might come. So it's just wrong, and it should not be tolerated.
Okay, thank you.
And
yes.
Just to add, the Ministry of Health, I think they are always encouraging persons not to do it, because it is not. Yes, you hear in the PSAs and so on. Yes,
it's just not right.
Yes, it is a it is a virus that anyone can get it.
You know?
Yes.
We have a caller on the line. Good night, caller.
Hello?
Take a break.
Good night, caller.
Hi, good night. I have a question. I want to know, why do police officers in uniform patrolling and do drink while they are in uniform? Or even though they are not in uniform, they are undercover, why do they are allowed to drink? And how often do they take a breathalyzer test? Because I think that's very dangerous.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much, Mr. Commissioner. Yes.
And then we'll take a break.
I mean, drinking on duty is an offense. Well, it depends on what you... When I suspect the person is speaking in terms of alcoholic beverage. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we assume.
That is... Yeah, it is an offense. The person should not be doing it at all. And more so doing it in the public. Yes, it should not be... It will not be tolerated, and persons must desist from doing it.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, let's just take a short break, Shane. We're going to take a break. When we come back, some more questions. Stay tuned to Police Inside.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete, so fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
Yes, it's definitely about the high life. The high life with Prime Life by Digicel. Live the Prime Life this month and be one of 4 winners of $1,500 cash. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Upgrade to a postpaid Prime bundle. Download the Digicel apps or become a new Digicel customer to qualify. 4 winners, $1,500 each. It's the high life with Prime Life by Digicel.
It's all about the high life. It's all about the high life.
COVID-19 stigma will not protect you.
I don't want that child playing with my child.
He better stay away from me.
Be kind during COVID-19. Follow all protocols.
That disease I have no cure.
Learn the facts about the virus.
Me, I'm not working with any COVID person.
She better stay away from me.
Let's not turn fear into stigma. A message from the St. Lucia Red Cross.
Hi, my name is Desir, and you may know some of my hits like this one.
Don't play with man. Man pull up like 10 bad man.
Our music inspires and entertains. It powers festivals and is an integral part of our history and culture. Creating good music takes hours of thought, writing, arranging, recording, and production. When people or businesses who use our music publicly or for commercial gain get a music license, they're not just keeping the law, they're also supporting music creators, producers, musicians, singers, sound engineers, and many others in the music industry. Keep the great music coming. Get a music license for your business place or event. Support music rights.
For more information, visit echorights.com. This message is brought to you by Echo and this Echo license station. Echo. Protecting music rights.
We are solution. Crystal clear.
Sodium free and the proud recipient of the 2018, 2019 and 2020 Grand Gold Mond Selection Quality Award. Our choice is clear. Crystal clear.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host is Zachary Hippolyte. In studio with me, I'm Police Commissioner Milton Desir. Hopefully we'll probably get an extra 5 or 10 minutes. Let us take that call. We got a call on the line? Yeah, let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Yes, good night, Zachary. Good night, Mr. Commissioner.
Good night, sir.
Yes.
I have a little concern with what I believe is, or what I call gangster stuff happening with some of the COVID wardens. I was watching a video today, and I watched an officer put somebody in the back of a vehicle, and after the person was already apprehended, give him a punch in his head. Like, I feel people need to control themselves, and especially as an officer, you have examples to set. I understand you're upset, you're frustrated, but if I take my frustration and punch somebody in the head because they frustrate me, there would be repercussions for that type of behavior. Another time I was looking at another video and I watch an officer chamber around. Like, it's too much indiscipline I see in some of these arrests we're talking about when we're dealing with COVID. I knew everybody frustrated, people going through things, but that is, I don't believe that's the way.
That's not the way. And it's beginning to concern me a little bit. Like it's a bit draconian.
Okay, that's it, caller?
Yeah, that's it. So I'd like you to speak to it once I hang up. I'd like to hear your take on it.
No problem, caller.
Thanks.
Mr. Commissioner?
Yes. Actually, indiscipline will not be tolerated by me. Persons go out there, they have a duty to perform. We always encourage them to perform it professionally. And where force has to be used, where it's necessary, I keep saying, remember the use of force policy, where you have to use the minimum force that is necessary to probably effect an arrest or to overcome some situation. In terms of, I will not comment on the officer chambering the round, because that's a matter that is subject to investigation. I will not comment on it. Neither some warden punching an individual. So all these are subject to investigation, so I will not comment on them.
Yes,
but just generally that it is
wrong, and we don't tolerate it.
Yes.
Good night, caller. Caller, you there?
Good night, Mr. Good night, Mr. Hibble.
Good night, sir.
Good night, man.
Turn down the volume of your TV. I'm hearing it. Turn it down. Too much feedback. Turn that down.
I just need to ask a question.
Okay.
The commissioner is on the committee for 4 weeks. I have Pakistan coming in from England the next week. He is going to be quarantined at my house. Will I be allowed to pick him up at the airport?
And can you repeat who is coming in? Who really?
Yeah, my son is coming in from England in the next 2 weeks. I want to know, he'll be quarantined at my house. I want to know whether I will be able to pick him up at the airport.
If he would be quarantined at your home, does he meet all the requirements for quarantine, being in his own room and
yes, sir, because they have
so on?
I'm already coming to my house to look at, where he's going to be.
Yes, the practice is once you are coming in and you would be in quarantine, that you would be required to take one of the approved taxis. However, if the person is being quarantined at your home, that we are hoping that you would take the person directly from the airport directly to his to your home, and observing all the protocols that the taxi drivers observe. But generally, as I said, it is recommended that it is for this person to take an approved COVID taxi.
Okay, so in other words, you're saying that I will not be able to pick him up. I should not pick him up. Or I will not be allowed to pick him up. Just a question.
Yes, but as I said, generally it is the arrangement is a COVID-approved taxi has to transport this individual.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Good.
We have any other calls? So, in terms of on the WhatsApp texting platform, I received this message. Our special police constables, especially those that have been working for over 20 years service, a colleague of ours wanted to know, is there anything in place for these individuals? We all know now that we seem to be moving into a new process where young special police constables could apply, become regulars. But what about those who've been there for a long time?
Yeah, that's a little difficult. Yeah, because you would have to look at the age in as much as they would have been there for, say, 20 years, we assume that they would have been close to 40 or even over 40 or some persons, more than that. Now, we must take into consideration when persons are recruited in the force, the age that you were, age of recruitment. So all these things have to be taken into consideration. I know that some arrangements had been made. There was some arrangement made with the Welfare Association and government where persons would be paid.
We are receiving some certain amount of funds.
Certain amount of things. I know that there was a case where some officers believed that they were treated unfairly in that regard. However, I have an application on my desk by some of the senior officers requesting that I speak on their behalf to see what can be done, and that I will endeavor to do to ensure that probably something could be put in place. But as it stands now, as the law stands, yes, it appears that nothing much can be done. Yes, with them.
And one of our colleagues just asked, why is it that the SPCs who applied for elevation just last year have to reapply for elevation again this year? Can the previous application be used?
It is better to apply for elevation because we have a new, all these applications would be put together and a committee set to review these applications. Sometimes the application from last year may have been discarded. When I say discarded, probably put aside because those persons were not successful. Also, you would, if it was last year, for this year you have had 1 extra year of experience. You may have done some other development course, so your position may have changed now from last year. So it is always better to have a new application which would show a better picture of you and how you stand.
And last question from the WhatsApp texting platform. Good night, Mr. Commissioner. Can you please address the traffic situation at the junction of Computer World and the Grosley Highway? Vehicles from the minor road are causing traffic to back up on the highway. But that's been, I remember when, especially when Mr. Thomas was there, there was this initiative, and I think it is still going on, sir, where early in the morning we would have some officers from the traffic department assisted by Rodney Bay, etc., to help alleviate the congestion along that stretch of road, viewer. We know we are dealing with a lot of manpower constraints. COVID has taken a serious toll on us in the organization, but we will continue. Thank you for that message. We will continue to do our best as much as we can, especially when it comes to that junction. It's very difficult.
Yes, and as you mentioned, the toll that COVID has taken, we have many officers who have gone through that stage, especially quarantine. Yeah, sometimes you have an entire, like 2-3 weeks back, we had the entire Rodney Bay station being in quarantine. So this lessens on the number of persons that are available for actual duty. So in that regard, what we normally do is to prioritize the duties that you have to perform and then to see what can be done, because really the numbers are cut down by sometimes more than half that's available to you.
And last question from me, sir, before we wrap up. A new border control initiative should be implemented in St. Lucia this year. Can you tell us a little about this initiative and what would happen to the Marine officers, the officers attached to the Marine unit? Can you shed some light?
Okay, in terms of the Marine officers, I think I touched on it earlier, not in terms of border control, but if we are going to have a new border control, this border control will be made of the Marine, that would still form the Marine unit.
Okay.
Administratively, it would not be under the police force. It would be under the new border control. But when you look at the resources, it would have to be the resources that's coming out of Marine unit now, both the physical and the manpower. Because to get a Marine officer, and that is why I said it, I have answered part of it, this person has to be trained. This person has to gain the experience from the bottom coming up. It takes a number of years for you to be a full-time Marine officer. And even there's nothing like you stop your training. It's continuous training. And to get persons to be at that level, it would be very difficult. So the most obvious thing that would happen is that the officers who are at Marine unit now would be carried across to man the Marine section of the border control. So, so that is one of the plans that is there. Because other than that, it would be very difficult, as I said, to build up capacity, build up a Marine. It takes a while, yeah, for you to have somebody to take a Coast Guard from here to Trinidad and so on.
Excellent, yes. Sir. Well, sir, final remarks by you.
Okay, I'd like to inform the public that with my newly appointed position as commissioner, my aim is to see that there's a reduction in criminal activity, there's an increase in detection rate, although it may take a lot, because there are certain things that you could just by an eyewitness, but there are certain tests that are required, forensic tests and so on, which we may not have here, so it's dependent on other things. It may take long, and that I want to assure the public that I am a commissioner for the people, right?
Yes.
I'm a commissioner for police officers, and it's not a commissioner for any individual political party. I'm the commissioner for St. Lucia, and I'll see to it that all St. Lucians, or everybody, gets fair treatment. Everybody would be treated alike, and that there would be no individual favors given to any groups and so on. Persons would be treated as necessary. Okay, so I just want to assure persons of that. I want to see St. Lucia in a different light. It may not happen during my time, but I will work towards achieving that. So the work that I have done, whoever takes over will continue to see it. And one of the things that I want to do is to ensure that police officers, their welfare is taken into account. So their well-being is taken into account so that they get motivated, go out there to do the work, the job that needs to be done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight on Police Inside, Mr. Commissioner.
Yes, you're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you in the Facebook chat room, thank you so much. Those of you who called and text, thank you so much for your support. It's late. Stay safe, and we will see you next Tuesday. Good night.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and